All right, buckle up because today we are diving headfirst into the Ultimea Poseidon E40 projector.
We've got a ton of great user reviews to unpack.
It's sitting at a pretty impressive 4.7 stars from over 40 users. Plus, that story about how someone's movie nights were totally transformed by this thing.
It's definitely more than just hype. This projector packs some serious punch when it comes to specs, starting with its 1000 ANSI lumens.
Okay, break that down for me. What does that mean for the average person who just wants awesome movie nights?
Basically, it's bright, like really bright.
All right, so none of that shutter the windows, plunge the living room into darkness business.
Exactly. You can enjoy a crystal clear picture, even with a bit of ambient light.
Music to my ears. But let's get down to brass tacks. What else is under the hood of this projector that has people so excited?
Well, let's start with the resolution. We're talking native 1080p.
Okay, so far so good. That's pretty standard for a decent projector these days, right?
Right. But here's where it gets really interesting. This projector also supports 4K content.
Whoa, now we're talking. So
Yeah.
whether I'm watching the latest action flick or revisiting a classic, those details are going to be incredibly sharp.
Exactly. And say goodbye to juggling remotes and extra devices because the Ultimea Poseidon E40 runs on Android TV.
You had me at no more fighting over the Roku remote. So streaming is a breeze, but what about the audio? I mean, we're talking movie nights here, right? It's got to sound good.
You're telling me. And this is one area where the Ultimea Poseidon E40 truly stands out. It's got Dolby audio with built-in 20W speakers.
Now, that's what I like to hear. So many projectors in this price range have those teeny, weak speakers. Completely ruins the experience.
Totally. But with this projector, you get that immersive, cinematic sound that truly elevates your viewing experience.
This is all sounding pretty amazing so far, but let's be real, it can't all be sunshine and roses, right?
You're right, no tech is perfect. Let's dig into those user reviews and see what people are saying could be improved. And one thing that consistently gets high marks is how easy this projector is to set up. People are raving about the autofocus and automatic alignment.
Okay, for someone like me who isn't exactly a tech whiz, what does that mean in plain English?
It means you unpack it, plug it in, and boom, you're good to go. The projector takes care of all the adjustments for you.
No more fiddling with the focus or struggling to get the image perfectly square on the wall.
Exactly. It's all about getting you to your movie night faster.
Love that. Now, you mentioned movie nights, T, but what about taking the show on the road? Is this projector portable?
Absolutely. That's another big win for the Ultimea Poseidon E40. It's compact, lightweight, even has a built-in handle.
So we could take this thing to a friend's house, set up a backyard movie night.
No problem at all. It's designed for portability.
Okay, I gotta ask, what about the downsides? What are people saying could be improved?
Sure, there are a couple of things. One point some users brought up is that it only has one HDMI port.
Okay, and for most people these days, that's probably not a deal breaker, right? Especially with so much focus on streaming.
Probably not. But if you're someone with a gaming console, a Blu-ray player, and a streaming stick all plugged in, you might find yourself playing musical chairs with the HDMI cable.
So maybe not the best choice for a dedicated home theater setup where you've got everything running through the projector.
Right.
What about the projector's internal storage? Any concerns there from the user reviews?
That's worth considering. It has 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of storage.
And is that enough?
For everyday streaming, most users didn't have any issues.
So watching Netflix, Disney Plus, all that's good.
Seems to handle it just fine.
But where might that 8 GB of storage become a problem?
Well, if you're someone who likes to download a ton of movies directly to the projector, or if you're big into gaming and like to have a bunch of games downloaded at once.
Ah, okay. Those huge game files and 4K movies can eat up space pretty quickly.
Exactly.
So it's all about knowing your needs and how you plan to use the projector.
Absolutely. And that leads into the big question, price.
Right, because all these bells and whistles don't come cheap.
Exactly. The Ultimea Poseidon E40 is priced around $500.
Okay, so that's a decent chunk of change. Is it worth it? $500, that's a real investment. So is this projector worth it? What are people saying?
You know, it's interesting. The reviews that really stood out, the positive ones, they weren't just talking about specs. They were talking about the experience.
Right, like Vincenzo Fioretti, he was raving about how the Ultimea's picture quality was so good, it felt like he had a brand new living room.
Exactly. It's that feeling you get when you dim the lights, fire up the projector, and suddenly you're not just watching a movie, you're immersed in it.
Totally. But on the other hand, we have users like Discovolante who, while impressed, did mention that there might be similar projectors out there for a little less money.
And that's the key, isn't it? Figuring out if this particular projector, with its strengths and its limitations, is the right fit for you.
Exactly. So, to all our listeners out there, picture your dream movie night. What's the most important thing to you?
Is it that plug-and-play ease of use? Because that autofocus on the Ultimea is seriously impressive.
Or maybe it's about having all your favorite streaming apps right there, built in, without needing a bunch of extra devices.
That Android TV integration can be a game changer if you're all about minimizing clutter.
But if you're worried about that 8 GB of storage, especially if you download a lot of movies or games, that's something to think about.
It always comes back to knowing your needs. What are your priorities? What are your must-haves?
And hey, maybe after all this, the Ultimea Poseidon E40 checks all the boxes for you.
Or maybe, just maybe, this deep dive has got you thinking about other options.
Because remember those comparable projectors that Disco Volante mentioned?
Perhaps one of those would be an even better fit. Maybe there's one with 2 HDMI ports for around the same price.
Or maybe one with a bit more storage space for all those movie files.
That's the beauty of a deep dive like this. It's all about giving you the information you need to make an informed decision.
Exactly. So keep researching, keep comparing, and most importantly, keep those movie night dreams alive. Until next time, happy watching, everyone.